Speaking of super modifieds, let's get ready for a little something here. Actually, let's just talk about Mr. Donnie Large right now. Andy, on the screen is a picture of Donnie Large, and this race is a tribute to Donnie Large Sr. Donnie Jr.'s in the field. They really struggled last night. You talk about a team that just wouldn't give up, had a bunch of people down there helping him. I pushed him through the pits on my Ranger, and the car would hardly move when they first put it out. Ended up, something in the rear was messed up. Left rear was jammed into the left rear trailing arms. But this race came really close to being canceled this weekend. This is painful running the racetrack without grandstands, without beer sales. It's financially impossible. We lose a lot of money on these club nights. And the reason we did not cancel this night is because of that gentleman that's on the screen right now, Donnie Large Sr. Talked with the family, talked with my wife. There was just, no matter what, this night will probably, who knows, it'll be a $7,000, $8,000 grandstand ticket for me tonight. But we weren't going to give up on this, and we wanted for Kenny Takeuchi, part of the Legends of Kearney Bull, and then Donnie here to cap the night off to end it. So we started with Kenny's tribute, and we'll end it with Donnie's tribute. And just probably still, I'd have to look at the records, but the most winning driver here in the most categories at the Madera Speedway.
Yeah, I believe he's won in just about every division that we have as a regular.
Yeah, from Toyota sedans all the way up.
Yeah, to late models. And Donnie Large Sr. was a guy that would just jump in and run inlay. If you said, hey, jump in my car, he'd bring his race suit over his helmet, and he'd just jump in the car and go and run.
It's kind of funny because he gave me a hard time from day one when I was down here, and my brother's a big Dodgers fan. Donnie was too. And so just diehard how they were. It kind of reminds me of my brother's a year younger than me with their attitudes and their approach. And when I first got down here in 2006, I told the guys, all right, here's the vision. Here's what I'm going to try and do. And 2007, pardon me, end of 6. And then by 2008 or 9, Donnie came up and, hey, what's going on? Track's not repaved yet, and this isn't done, and there's no TV show here. And it was kind of funny. He would always harass me. Yeah, patience, Donnie. We're digging and chewing our way through this. And so to finally get the track to the point where we had the vision to take it, kind of a little short track version of Bristol, and then to have people like Donnie that would just not let up and say, go, 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 and it was for Donnie to see what we finally did with that very special. Speaking of Donnie Large Jr. right now rolling out. We'll see if we can get Doug. Oh, there we are. Donnie Large Jr. right now in the number 2 super modified, gorgeous looking view. Justin Kawahata on the quad pushing Donnie Jr., and it was Justin that put that rear end back together last night. He was ripping that car apart, just throwing the wrenches at it, making sure it would, they multiple trips and adjusting, and finally got the car rolling. So very, very nice to see a wing super modified right where he's at. Angelo will know this. That was my view down there. Tammy and I, when we were first dating, early 80s, would sit down there in the grandstands in turn 4. And you couldn't hardly get a ticket unless you got here early. And Johnny Brazil, number 100 yellow car. I used to cheer him on, which ironically, Donnie Sr. saw him run the 100 number a bit. Wonderful seeing the cars out here. 48th Annual Harvest Classic, where without our big tractor pulls and without all the other things that we do, it's usually a 2-day horsepower circus, we call it. But we'll give you a handful of wings, what could come out and run. And thanks to all of our great sponsors for helping us do this, such as Mission Foods. Let's hit them real quick. Mission Foods is one of the reasons we're able to finish this season off as strong as we can. So, like I always say, fans, put some Mission in your kitchen. Support the brands that support our sport. Help us out. Mission's been an amazing addition. They sponsor from, Indy cars, F1 cars, everything in between. The other thing, 5150, let's announce it right here. Watch our Facebook page next week. There's all these blowout specials that anyone coming to the Speedway next week for the short track shootout can pre-order their cases and have them delivered here to the Speedway instead of shipping or any of that. So watch our Facebook page for all of those announcements. And a big part of next week will be KDD Media, Carlos Vieira, Knocking Doors Down, the podcast, the book. You'll see a bunch there. Make sure you're keeping an eye on that. KDDmedia.com, mediacompany.com, pardon me. And then the big release out here in California for us, the Mission Foods Racing Style Chips, Too Fast, Too Tasty. We're doing a barbecue on October the 16th, a driver appreciation barbecue presented by Mission Foods right before championship night for the 5150 juniors and the Nut Up Pro Late Model Series. But the juniors, with the help of Frank's Radio and Mission Foods, it will pay $1,000 For each position, 1 through 5, each of the juniors gets $1,000. 6th through 10th gets $500, and then 11th through 15th, $250, with a ton of other bonus monies from the best interview, the best this, the best that. It'll be really spectacular. On the racetrack right now, though, is something that's as spectacular as it gets, a super modified at the Madera Speedway. Outback Andy, what do you see?
Well, I see Donnie Lance Jr. going to lead him to the green in that lime green car. So that is very, very fitting. The 2 car of Donnie Lance Jr. Spoke to Donnie Lance Jr. He said, been out of these cars for a while and feels a bit different.
Yeah, but look at McCarthy coming down the back straightaway with a lot of speed. Carter got past Burgess. That's bad news. That sprint car is going to be bad fast right out of the gate, and then it should wear the right rear down. That's normally what happens, but you got a problem. This is only a 30-lap main event. McCarthy on the inside of Large down the back straightaway with Carter looking.
Yeah, I'm McCarthy. We didn't give a lineup before this race.
Oh,
but that
Carter's
is
loose.
McCarthy in that Salon Blonde number 19 car. Now
oh, he's loose. Loose. Here comes Carter.
Yeah, Carter. Wow, Art McCarthy
coming
was
in.
so loose, he was almost like he threw out the anchor in turn number 2. Carter to the lead.
Now what'll be interesting is how fast can Burgess get past McCarthy, and then how fast will the 2 car get loose of Carter. That right rear, the sprint cars usually wear out the right rear, but this looks like a feisty little race right now. I'm back, Andy, for 30 laps.
Maybe a problem for Donnie Lance Jr. He has gone way off the pace in that patent racing number 2.
McCarthy looks to be faster than Burgess. Got more straightaway speed, so I don't know if Jim's still got a little hiccup with a squirrel spinning that crankshaft right now, but it's not really purring real well. But McCarthy has a tremendous amount of speed. If he can apply some pressure, the 7 car breaks the suspension again.
Yeah, that's Tim Scoglin. Luckily for Tim, he was able to keep that off the wall.
Yep, turn 4, we've got one down there. Cameraman heading around, I can't stop. I got a spot here a little bit. And that was the same spot he broke the suspension before. Rear end was all over the place. That thing was dog walking down the back straightaway. Tim was stomping and steering, trying to keep it out of the wall. Did a good job for the second time. Okay, here we go, Outback Andy. We'll run it in a recorded fashion. Off of turn 4 comes Carter, lap 5. Going to lap 30. McCarthy very fast underneath, peeking down the back straightaway. Nothing there.
It's been a while too since we've seen Art McCarthy and Art, one of the veterans. Wow, Art's certainly chasing that 19 car all over the racetrack. Art McCarthy's a pretty good race car driver too. And Jim Burgess in that 32 car, here he comes in that big horsepower, number 32.
Yeah, McCarthy's pushing real bad off of the corners and then kind of goes down the straightaway a little bit off the wall. Watch, he's leaving a little real estate out there. And it's a little bit pushy right here. Watch where he picks up throttle. Pushy. That's going to overheat and wear that right front out. What we're doing right now, fans, we just lost this feed, so we'll put it up tomorrow morning for you because this race is going to happen in a hurry. Carter right now off of turn 4 down the front straightaway, still leading about 5 car lengths over McCarthy. Burgess hasn't made much ground up either. Outback Andy.
Austin Carter used to race super modifieds, then turned to the wing sprint cars. And he's been out there winning a few races too in that number 2 car.
I think Burgess is making a big commitment on the top now, even though that thing's huffing and puffing. Look at the smoke off of Burgess's car. He wants to get past McCarthy lap 10 to get a shot at Carter when that right rear tire wears down just a little bit, which will happen. That sprint car will wear out that right rear tire.
Yeah, that time Art McCarthy wasn't quite as far up the racetrack, and Jim Burgess got in there. But Jim's got to try and find a way around, but Art's putting the car out there just enough that Jim can't sneak by on the outside.
Yeah, Jim's blowing some smoke. Look at Jim, drive it in right here. You got to drive it in a mile. Keep McCarthy from coming up. That's all right. So McCarthy knew he was there. So watch, yep. Jim's going to be able to make this move. We're running out of laps, so we're coming to lap 14. Lap 14. This could be a barn burner if Burgess gets by McCarthy to run that sprint car down. Now, here's something that's happening, Andy. Carter's able to back off a little bit. He's now not being pressured, so he doesn't have to wear that right rear out. Watch how he's babysitting the right rear up off the corner right here.
And in these sprint cars, you can actually hear the cars behind you, so you hear a bit of a noise. You can tell whether they're getting closer or further away. So Austin will be able to hear once those cars, especially that big, noisy 32 of Jim Burgess.
Man, that thing's still, Burgess blowing a lot of smoke out of the rear, but they are closing in on Austin Carter. Now here comes Burgess. Yeah, now this has got to keep McCarthy down. Does he know he's there or not? McCarthy's staying down. Watch this big run. Burgess is going to McCarthy's kind of doing a little square block move. Here he comes again. Burgess really needs to get past him. Coming to lap 18, 12 to go. Laps are ticking away. I think if Burgess could get past McCarthy, it could become very interesting here, Andy.
I think it could become very, very interesting. And McCarthy now trying to block that line that he knows that Jim Burgess has been running. Good job from the veteran Art McCarthy that time.
Here comes Burgess. Watch some incoming on the outside this time by. Trying to get to him. Watch him on the outside this time by. Couldn't get him. 10 laps to go. 10 to go. This is really competitive out back, Andy. McCarthy's crawling back up on Carter. That right rear right now, if you see it start to fail, it'll happen in this zone right here out back, Andy.
Yeah, credit to Jim Burgess for trying that.
Here comes Burgess. Burgess trying to get on the outside.
That's just pulling.
Burgess a mile, drives in a mile. He's got, McCarthy across his nose. Had to lift. Boy, McCarthy's all over the racetrack. Burgess trying the bottom now. This could be the difference for Carter winning. He's not being pushed right here. Coming to 7 to go this time by.
Yeah, that's right now. Art McCarthy is Austin Carter's best friend.
Look at McCarthy. I mean, he's on the bottom. He's on the top. He's all over the place trying to hold Burgess back.
Yeah, I don't know his Art's been in a car very much lately. Maybe in a.
Look at this. Right, Jim goes to the top. McCarthy. In the wall. In the wall. In the wall. That slows Burgess down, and Carter is gone. If the yellow does not come out, which it does not, this is lights out. That's the checkered flag for Carter right there.
Art pounded the wall hard and really white-walled the tires on that 19.
And he's still got Jim behind him.
Still
won't give up. Lap 26, and Carter is gone. Yeah, that was the difference right there. Burgess could have got past McCarthy. That was the difference right there.
Jim's going to try something down here in 3. Jim Burgess gets the high line. McCarthy down on the low line, picks him down. Oh, Jim Burgess up to 2nd. Has he got time to run him down? I don't think so.
No way. And that move on the front straightaway, McCarthy hit the wall. That was the difference. Burgess could have got to the back bumper of Carter, and it would have been a really entertaining race. Look at Burgess now. Look at the gap he's closing up right now already.
Yeah, see how much he pulls up on the 2 car.
White flag coming out this time by Outback Andy.
Austin Carter. One more lap of Madera. Jim Burgess, Mr. Showman tonight on the racetrack. Really putting in a big run. Art McCarthy in 3rd, and that 4th place is
checkered flag.
The 2 car was Austin Carter, and the 2 sprint car wins from Jim Burgess, Art McCarthy. Donnie Large Jr., unfortunately for Tim Skoglund, broke in the Hayes brothers car. As we head down trackside for the Donnie Large Senior Memorial, and the winner tonight, the lone sprint car, takes it. I tell you what, Austin Carter, great drive by you, but I think you want to go down there and hand a beer to Art McCarthy in that 19 car, because man, oh man, he kept Jim Burgess from passing him, and I think if Jim had got by, he would have certainly ran you down and made a race for it up front.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew the key to our race was getting by them early and just trying to get the lead and run as smooth as I could, but I couldn't do it without these guys behind me. They wrenched on that car all day. We started off not quite where we wanted to be, and every time out they just kept working and working and working on this car until we finally hit the setup in the main. And it's such a cool race to win. I grew up in these stands coming to this race every year, watching the supers run, and to finally be able to win one here at the Harvest Classic is something really special for our team and for myself. And man, I can't believe we finally did it here at the Harvest.
Austin, that's a special run for a sprint car to beat the supers here. I don't think that's happened before. Tell me about you get the strategy. You've got to get out there early. Then I'm thinking you've probably got to take care of that right rear tire on the long run. That's probably part of the plan, where the supers run so well through the corner with the offset and with the left side weight they've got. How was your car at the end? Did you have a lot of car you could battle with if you needed to?
Yeah, absolutely. About halfway through, I could kind of peek through my eye and see I had a little bit of a gap, so I backed it up a little bit just on my exit. So like you said, I wasn't burning my right rear up, but I had such good forward drive all day that I knew need be, I could get out of the hole really fast and really hard if they started creeping back up to me. But there's a little bit of saving the tire, saving the car through the middle, and keeping as much of it underneath me as I could in case I needed to use it there at the end.
That was an excellent win. Congratulations. Really entertaining to see it that competitive. Tell us about all your sponsors. Who helps you? And you've got a big crew and a lot of people that work hard, but who are the sponsors and the people that put the effort into the car away from the racetrack to allow you to get victories like this at the racetrack?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I got to thank Gowan's Race Motors and Jerry for giving us such a great bullet under the hood. Louis Januso does all my setup, and the rest of my crew, they work really, really hard. Ameriprise Financial, Brighton Academy, Derek Carter Enterprises, Caps Coating, all the guys that help us get here. I couldn't do it without them, and I really appreciate it. And it feels good to finally put them in victory lane this year.
And, of course, you've driven super modifieds too, so you kind of know how they handle and where you'd have to be on the racetrack to put that block once you knew they were coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my super experience helped a little bit. I know they like that top lane, but if they could get underneath me, they could roll through the center so much better and take away my exit. So if they were going to get up and battle with me, I knew my best bet was to keep the inside and force them to go around me. But I didn't think they could leave as hard as I could with this 410 that we have and all the forward drive that Louis put in the car. So I knew if it was going to come down to it, I wanted to make them do it on the outside.
Great job, and look forward to seeing the supers and sprints back at Madera sometime in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for everything.
Well, Austin Carter, what a drive tonight in that beautiful number 2 410 power plant. Open competition tonight for our super modified sprint cars.
He mentioned Louis Januso. That's who's down there measuring tires. He just gave him a hug. Probably as good as anyone in the business, setting up supers or sprint cars, pavement cars. So down there still working really hard. So.
Well, second place tonight, the first super modified over the line, Jim Burgess. A great battle there with Art McCarthy, your buddy down there, but man, oh man, he just you couldn't get by him. I think if you had got by him, would have seen a great run up front with Austin Carter. But great job being the first super modified over the line tonight. And I know Kenny's got some comments for you too.
Oh, yeah. I don't think any human could have got around Art tonight the way he was driving, but that's Art. I love the guy. Yeah, I just didn't want to get aggressive. We've been, cracked up too much this year. Just wanted to put it in one piece. It's just a club race. So Austin was a little freed up. So if I would have been able to, Art made a great move on the first lap when he cut down inside and got behind Donnie Large. And so once get behind Art, he's a little difficult to pass, but we definitely had speed to reel him in. But, that's racing, and didn't want to crack nothing up. And
hey, less a driver than yourself. I think when Art pounded the wall, we could have had a big wreck down there.
Well, I haven't been racing super here. Well, we've only raced once, maybe in the last few years, and the dynamic of the track has changed a whole bunch. It used to be a top-only line, and there's virtually nothing upstairs. And so if you look at the video and stuff, I was the only one going up there trying to get it, but just couldn't get any bike coming out of the corner. Had too much throttle push, and that forced me to. That took away a race line I could put a little up alongside everybody in the apex of the corner, but just couldn't seal it going around the outside because it's just there's no grip up there right now. But if we run some more open wheel up here, and that top will come in and it'll come back to where it was before.
Yeah, Jim, this is Kenny. We've actually had the last month and a half been top groove dominant. Everyone's been barking about, so we did some different things to the track this week, getting ready for the big short track shootout next week. But back to your comment, I'm still laughing. No human being could get by Art tonight. And Andy was saying, he was saying it politely. I think he called it, that's the only guy that made a super modified 4 widths wide. So what was the conversation with you and Art right after that? I know you guys are good buddies.
That's Art. He's been racing 50 years, and he's still back in the Palmbo Sargent. I don't give a rat's about anybody. I'm going to go where I'm going to go, and if you don't like it, that's tough. And you know what you get with Art. And he, like I said, he made a textbook move on that first lap. And once you get behind him, and he has upped his speed in that offset to where he's very competitive on a lap. But man, I tell you what, the guy's a moving chicane. And then when he hit the wall over here, I thought he was going to collect me up with him. And I don't know how I didn't just run over the top of him, but that allowed Carter to check out and give him some room, and then I got free the last 2-3 laps, and I was biting off chunks, and wish just would have gone 5 more laps. Would have been a good race.
Great job, Jim. Certainly turned it on for the cameras tonight.
It was a good race. You know, you can say all you want about having 15 cars or whatever, but the camera would have been on the first 3 the whole race anyway. I mean, so it's all really academic. I mean, as long as you got a good, tight racing. I watched that 40-lap late model race from the cockpit, and what a race that was. I mean, the track is really racy. It's great, and, you know, hopefully this COVID thing goes away and we can start bringing it back to its glory.
Well, Jim, that was very entertaining. We were actually talking about it on the show here with the 3 of you going at it. And I was saying, boy, I hope that 32 gets by because I want to see what's going to happen on the white flag here. But thank you so much for coming out. You're always entertaining. I think we ought to have Simpson or one of the helmet companies make one in the shape of a John Wayne cowboy hat for you because you're the real deal when it comes to old school throwback racers. We appreciate it so much. Who helps you guys on that car sponsorship-wise? All out of your pocket or you have some help?
You know, I Full Circle Brewery, I'm you know, involved with that, and they help some, mostly with beer, but that's good for my crew guys. And then it's all self-done. And then, you know, people throw in tires once in a while. The people involved in super modifieds have just such a passion. Out of the blue, you get a tire sent to you and help because they want to see these cars survive. And you can see by that race, I mean, I was the only one going on that goofy line, diamonding up almost to the top of the apex, and that's the beauty of those cars. You can take them wherever you want, and you know, usually you could pass a guy, but like I said, Art's 1 in a million on that. And I've raced a lot of super modified guys.
Well, race fans, that's Jim Burgess. Jim, that is old school style racing. My early days, what we looked for was a pizza sponsor and beer sponsor. That's how you kept the crew members at the shop and got the race car back in the trailer. So love it. Love the old school racing. Thank you so much, Jim. Race fans, that's Jim Burgess.
We'll see you next year.
Thank you, Jim. Very impressive. I always like Jim's attitude. You know? Yep. I don't think any human on the planet could pass Art McCarthy tonight.
Like you say, they're good friends too. And, you know, he paid a compliment out. He said Art was up on the wheel and super competitive. So we'll get Art over here. And well, we're going to go down trackside now to 3rd place tonight, and it's the human chicane, as it's been explained by Jim Burgess. Jim, a good friend of Art McCarthy, but Art, he did pay you a compliment. He said you were fast. You had the line, and you were fast tonight, but you certainly made it difficult for Jim to get by. And man, oh man, when you pounded that wall, lesser driver than Jim would have ran you right over. But great racing out there tonight, and you really made it interesting for us up here when we were talking about the race.
Yeah, Jim's a really good friend of mine. He's helped me a lot. I normally race dirt, but I got the super modified a couple years back, and he's been helping me, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Good people out here, and the car don't get all dirty. You can take it home and put it in the garage without mud all over the floor. But I still race my dirt car, and I'm just having a good old time.
Well, that's what it's all about, you know, coming out to the racetrack and having a good time. And, yeah, you know, Jim said Art's been racing about 50 years, and he kind of don't really care where he puts it, and paid you some really big compliments. And, hey, it's good to see you run on the pavement. I know you do a lot of dirt racing with those wing sprint cars, but great to have you at Madera tonight.
Yeah, I enjoy it, like I said, and been doing it since 1969. I started on asphalt at the old San Jose Speedway, and then, you know, that got tore down, so we went to dirt. But I'm glad to be back on asphalt part-time, and can't have much more fun than this, huh?
Hey, Art, this is Kenny. I got a question for you. You've been running since 1969. Actually, 2 questions. How many races do you run now? I mean, back there, even when I started racing, you know, early 80s, late 70s, we'd run 3, 4, 5 nights a week sometimes. How has racing changed? How many races did you run when you started? And then what's your schedule like right now?
Well, back when I started, we used to run at least 32 to 38 races a year. And then when we went to dirt, I was probably back down to about 25 to 28, just because sometimes I had to travel out of town. But this last couple of years, with all the stuff that's going on, it's really kind of clamped down on racing. And luckily, we've got a few promoters like you. I mean, we ain't making a lot of money, but we're having a lot of fun. And if you can't have fun, you might as well do something different. So, but yeah, it's changed a bunch. You know, I'm 72 years old. I roll out in the pits and I see these 13, 14, 15-year-old kids drop themselves in a race car that's better than mine, and they've never been hurt yet. But you know, I mean, when they get stung once or twice, they start paying attention. But I mean, I raced with you know, Nick Rossino and Katie Sargents, all those guys, and then I raced with their kids, and I raced with their grandkids, and now I'm going to be racing with my own grandson here at the end of the year because he's 14. We're gonna put him in a car, and me and my son are gonna. So there'll be 3 of us out there, so it'll be fun.
Well, it was a pleasure having you here tonight, and I can only tell you, I hope I'm rolling like you when I hit my 70s. Very, very impressive. That was a fast race car you had tonight, and it was really a pleasure to have you here. Congratulations. Race fans, Art McCarthy, 3rd place tonight.
Thanks again.
So cool, Kenny, when you can have people like Jim Burgess and Art that are friends. They've been doing it for a lot of years, and they can get out like that and run like that and joke with each other after the race.
Heckle each other a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, but
back old school style. Back old school.
Winner.
You know, I'm going to take it from the back tonight. Starting in position number 14. In the 17 meet car, it is Kenny Knott. In the number 5, Eric Seeley. We move to row number 6 on the outside. This guy will not start, but was scheduled for Brian Collins. On to position number 11 in the 21, John Schlunt, moving up from the hobby stocks. Move to position number 10, our current points leader, Lily Mead. We move to position number 9, Dell McIntosh. Position number 8, the young lady, Kayla Eshelman, back in the 09. Out of position number 7, one of our junior late model stars, Calvin Hedgie. Move to the fast 3 rows now, starting out of position number 6. It is the 44 of Mike Shapiro. Inside Mike Shapiro, the guy is fighting with Lily Mead for points. It is the 28 of Travis Schlunt. We move to position number 4. He is our current points leader in the overall. That's the combined championship. It is the 89 of Sheldon Cooper. On his inside, the number 1, the Crown Holmes car of Tyler Herzog. On the front row, the 21 of Aaron Mullins, and lead him to the green, racing Jason Aguirre.
Speaking of leading them to the green, speed's coming up. Jason Aguirre off at turn 4. Hammer down. Mullins slides back a little bit. It's Jason Aguirre into turn 1 out back, Andy.
Yes, it is Jason Aguirre. Let's see what Mullins has out of turn number 2. He's got Tyler Herzog right there. How about this fast 5? It's Aguirre, Herzog, Mullins, Cooper, and Schlunt. Wow, wow, wow. That's a fast 5 on the racetrack. The driver in that Waterford Irrigation, Corbin Cash, 45, and Jason Aguirre. He is super fast, Kenny.
Well, looking at our points right now, the first one up there is Trevor Schlunt. He is running in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th position right now, and Lily Mead is back another 4 position. So you pretty much have a tie right now if they were to finish right now in the points out back, Andy.
Yes, she would. Lily's got to try and find a way through, and tonight she's got to try and do it without using the bumper. We saw it cost her some points last race. She's fighting out incidentally with Dell McIntosh.
Whoa, Mullins goes around on his own, completely on his own. That was his, I would call him just about a teammate. That was Sheldon Cooper right behind him. I'm not sure if something broke on that car. And let's go back to the heat race. I saw something in that right rear moving just a little bit. So if there's a broken trailing arm or a bolt or something that kind of came loose.
Aaron did hit the wall, but not really super hard.
A little bit. No, something in the right front broke.
Yeah.
That car broke.
Yep.
That car broke before it went around. No, he didn't.
That steering that broke on the right front, you're right, Kenny Shepard, because that was not done from the contact with the wall. Aaron Mullins.
No, something broke on that car. It just jumped around. Sheldon Cooper was right on his back bumper. Sheldon did a really good job staying off him as the car slowed. But I believe something broke as he entered turn 3, and that's why it went around. What a shame for Aaron Mullins. That's the fastest I've ever seen him here.
Yeah,
it's really fast. He was up on top of the leaderboard a big part of the day.
Aaron knows
had a winning race car tonight. All right, race fans, 1 to go. That means the next flag you are going to see will be green. Now we've got a new customer on the outside of Jason Aguirre. So Tyler Herzog, very fast race car. Let's see what kind of a start we get here. You'll see him pick up the pace over in turn 3. The only requirement is the 45 car needs to lead, and something unique right here. The 45 has taken the inside of the racetrack. That'll tell you the inside groove's a little bit better out back, Andy, but look at the 1 car roll the high side, big momentum coming down the back straightaway. I think we could have company right here for a lead change.
Yeah, I'm sure we are. And Sheldon Cooper is loving this. Sheldon's back on the inside. As Tyler Herzog way up the racetrack on the exit of turn 4. Gary is moving around the racetrack and blocking that number 1 car.
Well, I think you've got really good grip, except for off of turn 4 right here. Off of turn 4, the high side, there's just not enough cars up there. We didn't do the high side run last night, but the one car is still working that high side, laying some rubber down himself, so it may be effective here before this is all over.
And for the championship title hunt here, Lily Mead has got by Del McIntosh, and Lily out here right behind Calvin Hedgie.
Don't look now out back, Andy, not to interrupt you, but we've got a repeat of what happened the last race. Sheldon Cooper very fast on the long runs. Hopefully he can be a lot more patient. He learned something. It's lap 7. You've got a long ways to go to lap 40, and he's already got the crosshairs on the back of that 45 car. Sheldon's car last time was a better long-run car. Let's see if the 45 wears off a little bit. Hopefully Sheldon can be patient and put a good show on.
They had some trouble with the right-hand front. Not sure what they were pulling apart, but they had that whole right-hand corner apart on that 89 car in the pit area earlier today. They had some broken parts after some qualifying.
Well, I think
practice.
whatever they were working on, they fixed. That car is bad fast right now, pretty equal to the Gary car. And Gary's running extremely low line. I've seen a lot of guys, they figured out where we put a little bit of the juice. Running back here fighting for 6th is Kayla Eschman, 6th place car battle. We're going to try and slide back there. The 44 and the 09, we'll get them back right here for you. Kayla Eschman, that's Buddy Shepard on board. She was working over the car of Shapiro. Let's see if she can get past him right now.
Yeah, Mike Shapiro. I thought Mike might have been a contender up there tonight with Trevor Slund and the crew up there. Trevor is having a good run in 4th, and that's what he needs to have to try and help lock down this championship if he can, because Lily Mead is 4 positions right behind him. A good battle between Kayla Eshelman and Shapiro. Shapiro holds it. We haven't seen Kayla here at Madera for some time.
Still the best battle on the track. We're going to stay with them, Andy. We'll stay with Mike Shapiro and Kayla Eshelman with Hedgie. We got Calvin Hedgie closing in right now on that battle as well.
Yes, we do. Calvin Hedgie, and Calvin is bringing Lily Mead, and of course Lily has Del McIntosh riding around right behind Lily Mead. So Lily and Del have been racing together on the track the last few races a lot. Lily Mead races a lot better than Lily qualifies.
Oh, Eshelman, a little bit of bumper job there, fighting for 5th right now. Inside, we're going to have a little bit of contact.
Oh,
I saw that coming.
They go around, 2 cars go around, and Del spins as well. Wow.
Yeah, Kayla kind of had her nose in there, and it's going to be one of those situations where if you're the 09 team, you're saying I had plenty of car in there. If you're the 44 team, you're saying no, you didn't.
And well, the way our officials play this over recent weeks.
Does it? Well, not recent weeks.
Yeah, well, the whole year.
How about since 2012 when that rule came about?
So that rule will be that you're involved. You are going to go to the back of the pack. Tough break for Kayla Eshelman and Mike Shapiro.
So I think we're in for a treat right here. And usually you'd say, look, you can't win it on lap 1. You can't win it on lap 14, 15. I think you can win it right here. There's been most of the cars on the bottom, kind of monkey see, monkey do. Anyone watching that's running next week might want to pay attention to the bottom, because this is how the track will be set up next week. But with more cars, you'll lay a lot of rubber down. Lights are out. We're going green this time. Jason Gary's on the point. Sheldon Cooper outside, Andy.
How about our season's points battle? The 2 people that are fighting it out, Trevor Schneider and Lily Mead, start on the outside in position 4 and 6.
But what we're watching right now is the lead. Here comes Sheldon Cooper on the top. Let's see if he can get there. A little slip and slide. Big run right now. This is what I'm looking for. Big run, and then Sheldon's going to smoke him down the back straightaway if it works out right. Sheldon Cooper's got the lead right here. The only question mark is the exit of turn 4, Andy. It's been a little slippery right here. There it is. You saw Sheldon, but he's got the run. You got a battle on your hands right now. If you're Jason Gary, you might say, why did I put that kid on the outside?
Yes, you may regret this, although coming out of turn 2, Jason Aguirre working hard on that 89, and Sheldon's got the nose ahead, coming out to the line. New race leader, Sheldon Cooper. The BC Pizzas Fantasy Deagle, number 89. That's setting for a good run out of turn number 2. That is out of 5150 turn. And we go down in here to 3 and 4.
Sheldon way up the racetrack loose, and Gary's got him that time.
Gary gets the lead back.
Yeah, but it's not for long. Watch turn 2. Sheldon's coming off of turn 2. A little bit sideways right there. Sheldon's real loose out there. Gary may have wore him down. Right here's the problem. Off of the exit of 4, the inside's a little bit better right now, and he gave it up right there.
Yeah, Sheldon now, I don't think Sheldon's going to give up, because here comes the one now, Tyler Herzog. Tyler putting in some big laps at Madera Speedway.
Well, and a big battle right there for second, like you were saying. But he's laying a lot more rubber down outside. That can come to play. Hardly anyone's been up there. So if he stays there and he's committed, there's nobody else on the outside. Lily Mead, way back. She's on the outside. But other than Sheldon, he's the only car up there. So this will change next week when you've got half the field up there on the outside. Sheldon's laying some rubber down, and he is sneaking and inching little by little back to Jason Nagari. This isn't over yet.
Imagine Sheldon Cooper next week when you have that secret sauce up on the outside, which I'm sure you will have something up there, because Sheldon is not giving up. He is pulled away from Tyler Herzog.
I think Sheldon can win this on the outside. Lap 21, going to 40. And Sheldon is laying rubber down by himself on the outside of this racetrack. He knows the only way to win is the outside, and he is absolutely crawling back forward because he's smart enough to lay that rubber down right now. Absolutely amazing.
Well, he knows if he tries the inside on Jason, Jason will probably try and pinch him down. And Sheldon's not afraid to ride the high line right up on the concrete wall of Madera Speedway.
I'm telling you, Andy, he's laying the rubber down up there. It's getting faster and faster up there. We'll go to Zach's camera here. I get excited. I keep switching. Sheldon's going way up late apex in turn 4.
Yeah, Tyler Herzog now. Tyler stepped upstairs as well. Tyler went up there.
Okay.
He's seen that Sheldon's laying that rubber down, and he wants to be a part of this party.
Sheldon's a little bit loose is the only problem he's got on from right here. A little bit of exit, little tail wagging going on. But he's still a really good race car, and he's getting more rubber down where he's able to drive the high side harder. Watch this turn 2 move here. And Gary's got to be careful. Give him a lot of room up there. You've got company. Now turn 4 right here is not as good, but Sheldon's getting more rubber down. That looked good by Sheldon Cooper that time, Andy.
Yes, it did. Back a little ways on Jason and Gary, but coming out of turn 2, this is where the big drive is, and it's Sheldon now, side by side, nose in front past the nice right side. Sheldon Cooper has a nice ride going. It's a Gary by about a third of a car right now.
It's not going to be the next lap. It's going to be Sheldon Cooper this lap by, because it's a Gary that's a little loose wearing his stuff out on the bottom. Sheldon Cooper's laying rubber down on the top. I predict it's Cooper this time at the line.
Yeah, Jason trying to push him on the race.
Tie.
Yeah,
about a tie that time. Boy, that'd be a good checkered flag.
Well,
fans.
They gave it to Sheldon that time.
I thought it was close. Race fans, we've got 11 to go this time by. Gary's running him up the hill just a little bit more. Sheldon Cooper is laying down some rubber, paving the top on his own. Right now, you've got Herzog helping him put a little rubber down, and it's going to be Cooper inching ahead down the back straightaway. What a battle.
Yeah, Sheldon's got to try and get past Jason and Gary, and then once he gets by and pull down.
Nope, I disagree. I
So?
disagree. You ride this. You look at Gary's loose on the entry. Just shove Sheldon up the racetrack. Hit him. What you do if you're Sheldon Cooper, you leave it on the top and you win it on the top all the way. Gary's not going to be able to come back by once you drive by him on the top. 9 laps to go, race fans. And lap traffic, we got 17 cars sideways ahead. We've got Seeley up ahead. This is going to get busy right now. It's going to play to Gary's favor on the bottom.
Yes, it is going to play to a Gary, although Sheldon, that time Sheldon had to
crossover, he's got him. Big move. He just loaded him up, crossed him over, hit the rumble strip, so Gary's going to be the one having to protect the outside. If Sheldon's smart, he can keep that thing in there on the bottom, and Gary's going to have to run the top right now. That could have won the race for a Gary, because Gary just learned there's something on the outside.
Yes, he has. He's going up.
And Gary's going to go the outside and not let go of it right now.
Sheldon loosens him up. Sheldon got into the back of the 45 car, but one of Tyler Herzog is there as we are going through lap traffic. Trevor Schlunt now safely through. So our top 5 is Jason Aguirre, Sheldon Cooper, Tyler Herzog, Trevor Schlunt, and Calvin Hedgie. Then you go back to Lily Mead in 6, followed by Kayla Eshelman. That's a great battle on the racetrack too. The battle between Lily Mead and Eshelman, then back to Shapiro, John Schlunt and Del McIntosh. The final car out there is Kenny Knott. That is the full lineup as they are at lap number 35 on the racetrack.
Just 4 laps to go. We're going to stay with this lead battle. We can't do anything else with our cameras. And out back, Andy, Jason Aguirre in that traffic went to the high side after Sheldon made the run, and he just figured out he could win the race on the high side, like looking into a crystal ball. You can see this coming. Sheldon stays on the high side. He wins the race. Aguirre moves upstairs to protect it. A preview of how this track is going to run next week. Really good on the bottom, really good on the top. Sheldon Cooper loose right there.
Yeah, Sheldon got loose right in front of the 5150 sign that time. So Jason Aguirre now, the guy that moved up the racetrack to block that run from Sheldon Cooper, but it'll still be a nice points night for Sheldon Cooper in his chase to win the Madera overall late model championship.
Just 2 laps to go. We'll stay with the leaders. The flags, cameraman will freeze on the flag. Just 1 to go. White flag right here, race fan.
White flag for that Corbin Cash Waterford irrigation car. Jason Aguirre up against the BC Pizza car and the Herzog roofing entry. Crown Homes of Tyler Herzog. They'll straighten up out of turn number 4. Ray Sanson racing Jason Aguirre will go back-to-back wins at Madera. Sheldon Cooper second. Tyler Herzog a good run tonight in third, followed by Trevor Schlunt.
That was
and
entertaining.
Calvin Hedgie, Lily Mead held out. Kayla Eshelman, Mike Shapiro, John Schlunt, Del McIntosh with some damage inside the door where he got involved in that spin with Eshelman, Eric Seeley, and Kenny Knott.